Hey cuties, PeachY here, welcome back to a new video, and in this video we're going to talk about the latest drama that happened between Rainbow High and Monster High. It all started last Friday, the 23rd of December, when Monster High on Instagram posted this innocent and cute little picture paying tribute to a specific scene from the new Netflix show Wednesday, which obviously is all about Wednesday Addams, the Addams family. In this specific scene we can see Enid, who's the girl on the left with the bubbly and colorful personality in her side of the room that's also matching her colorful aesthetic, and then on the right we can see Wednesday, who's all about black and white, so her side of the room is very grim. And so this scene, they took this scene as inspiration for this picture, but with the characters of Viperine as Enid and then Elizabeth as Wednesday. And then you can see in the background they kind of took inspiration from the panels, the window panels on, you know, the circular window, and then they kind of applied that but monstrified it, and kind of also did their own version of the room with each side having a bed that we can see. And then on Wednesday we can also see a little hand statue that I'm just now realizing is supposed to be Thing. That completely went over my head. I thought that was just a random hand statue, and I was like, that's so weird, but that's supposed to be Thing. So this is obviously a reference to that scene and to the whole show, and it's a really cute little picture here. But then 3 hours later, lo behold, official Rainbow High / Shadow High also posts a picture, and wouldn't you believe it, it's also paying homage to that specific scene. And in this picture, it's the characters of Luna and Sunny that are paying homage to those characters of Enid and Wednesday respectively. As you can imagine, people were having a field day when this happened. Everyone was so confused, you know, leaving comments. The comment section under the Rainbow High post has a ton of comments where people are like, wow, that was fast, you know, insinuating that Rainbow High had copied Monster High. But when you actually take a look at the picture that Rainbow High posted, you can clearly tell it's heavily produced and edited. So in no way would they have had that done in 3 hours to post. Rainbow High even replied to some of the comments saying, POV when your classmate shows up in an outfit that you've been planning for a while, saying basically that they did not copy Monster High and that they had this planned already since a while now, and that this was basically just a big coincidence. Or was it? The Wednesday Netflix show has been doing really well, and it's super popular right now, especially for that one specific dance. So it's no wonder that Monster High / MGA would have wanted to kind of use that as a way to post a picture, you know, like for a setting of a picture, you know, like for an aesthetic. So I feel like that's kind of like reasonable. Like that's not too hard to expect or think of. I feel like when companies see something popular happening, they want to, you know, use that to their advantage to boost sales and to for marketing purposes. So it makes sense that they would do this. Even though the Monster High post came before the Rainbow High one, people actually prefer the Rainbow High post over the Monster High one, just because it does look like the Rainbow High one has way more effort put into it than the Monster High one. The Monster High one, they use stock photos. You can tell anyone really could have done this, but the Rainbow High one, you can tell they really put more effort into it, using you know, new pictures, the dolls and new outfits, the setting, it looks more dynamic, just everything about it just kind of reads better, and it's just more appealing to the eye. And actually, thanks to Danny who messaged me on Instagram, they said that perhaps if they had used Howleen and Twyla, it would have looked more believable as a, you know, as a pair of friends, you know, that are supposed to be opposites. Because Elizabeth and Viperine, I feel like they do kind of have that vibe of Enid and Wednesday, but I feel like Howleen as Enid, I mean, they're already both werewolf girls. That would have made so much sense. And then Wednesday at Twilight, they're both very gloomy and like in the shadows. I feel like that would have been just a better match overall. So thank you, Danny, for giving that suggestion. I wish Mattel would have paired those two characters up instead. I feel like that would have just looked way better, and maybe zhuzhed up the setting a little bit more, you know, given the dolls, again, new outfits, not just using stock photos. It just makes it look more like you care, like the company cares about what they're actually putting out, because the Monster High post next to the Rainbow High one really just reads as pale in comparison, unfortunately. And I don't want to compare, but unfortunately this is just what's going to happen here when you have these two pictures that look almost identical. You're going to have to compare. There's nothing else you can do. So when you do compare, you can tell there's just so much less effort put into the Monster High one, not just with the characters, the composition, the lighting, just the designs, the background, but just the stock photos. Like, girl, we need new pictures. Like, I don't understand why Monster High can shoot these really cute little TikToks, you know, like stop motiony, but they can't take new pictures of dolls to use for Instagram. I feel like, of course they could do that. Rainbow High does it all the time, and it's awesome. It looks really good. It shows that the company cares about what they put out, about what they produce for consumers. But here it just reads as, you know, really pale and just like, we don't care really. We're just doing this for the trend because Wednesday is really popular right now. I'm sorry if that's harsh. Just kind of the impression it kind of gives off, right? I don't know. A good observation here is that Fang is present in both pictures, but in the Monster High one, you can barely even make out that it's him, other than that it's a hand statue and that it's gray. They could have just as easily placed a Frankie hand on the floor, maybe painted a gray, or not even painted, just like, you know, edited to gray post, and that would have been a great representation of Fang. That's what Rainbow High ended up doing. They placed a little hand on the floor, the one with no long nails. They even, you know, took into consideration about that. It's a short nail mold. It's gray. It even has some stitch paint on it, and that looks like Fang. That is a great representation of Fang. But in a Monster High one, it's a statue. Girl, wow, it's a little accessory. Like, what? You can just tell there was so much more creative input and care put into the Rainbow High photo than there was any kind of creativity put into the Monster High picture. It's just night and day, honestly. Now, while I was thinking about this whole situation, I also thought, wouldn't it be really interesting to put up different polls on my story on Instagram? So that's what I did, and a bunch of y'all participated. So thank you to every single one of y'all who took their time to just, you know, participate in the polls that are now going to show up in this video you're watching right now. So if you would like to participate in future polls and be included in future videos, then be sure to check out my Instagram so you can also stay up to date with all the latest dolly news. The first question I asked, which have you been more into lately? And then there was Monster High at 31% and Rainbow High at 69%. So Rainbow High won by a landslide. Like, that was almost by more than half. So that's amazing. I mean, kind of sad because Monster High just came out with, you know, the newest generation. So you would think that Monster High would have more traction because, you know, it just came out with the new generation. But it seems that Rainbow High is really really making a name for itself in the short time that it's already been live. So the question was, which do you think is better quality overall? Monster High lost with 13% and Rainbow High won by a landslide once again, 87%. That's insane. Next question was, which do you think has better dolls? And this was more of like, well, still Rainbow High won with 56%, but still Monster High almost came close to the 50% with 44%. So here people were a little more torn because I mean, obviously, how can you pick between Monster High and Rainbow High dolls? They both have things to offer that the other don't. So this is a little bit more of a tougher decision to make, definitely. Next question was, which do you think has better value for price? Once again, Monster High lost at 37% and Rainbow High won at 63%. This one's juicy. Which one would you rather buy? Monster High lost at 42% and Rainbow High won at 58%. Now this one's also almost like a tie, so it really shows that this is a really tough question. I would also love to see what your answer would be down below if you did not get a chance to participate on the Instagram stories. So let me know down below your answers to some of these questions or all of them. Feel free. I would love to know. This one was really close. This one is, which do you think has more diversity? Monster High lost again at 47%, but it was really a close tie here, like almost really close. Rainbow High won with 53%. So you can really tell this was also a really tough question because diversity, I mean, Monster High is all about diversity, and Rainbow High infamously did not have much diversity in the first series, and then series 2 had Crystal, and now it's been getting better and better every series. So they are getting better, but I would say for me personally, I would say Monster High definitely has more diversity. This question is, which do you think is better executed designs? Now, as you can tell here, I forgot to actually write the names of the schools. So Monster High would have been yes, and no would have been Rainbow High. So in this poll, people majorly voted for what would have been Monster High winning at 78%, and then Rainbow High would have lost with 22%. I then re-uploaded the same question, but with now the actual titles of the doll lines, and the results are completely different. You can see when I re-uploaded it now with the correct names attached, Monster High lost again at 36% and Rainbow High won again at 64%. So I'm not sure what happened here. I don't know why there was such a vast difference in the first poll to the second poll. It was the same question. The only difference is that I forgot to write the names of Monster High and Rainbow High. So yeah, very, very interesting. I don't know why it changed so drastically to Rainbow High winning again when the first one, Monster High, won the first time around. So really interesting. I'm not sure why that changed. Next, we have, which do you think has better marketing? And this was also a close tie. Rainbow High still won at 57% and Monster High won at 43%. This one was, which do you think has better customer service? Rainbow High won by a landslide with 72% and Monster High lost at 28%. This is also no surprise here because MGA has, I think, better customer service than Mattel. So I think in those terms, MJ definitely has better customer service. It's more likely to send a replacement out than Mattel would have, for instance, with like a Hunt Couture. I think there have been cases, of course, but I think like if you look at the statistics and experiences from people, yeah, Rainbow High just has better customer service, I think, overall. This one's also juicy. It's, which do you think has more potential for longevity? So which one of these two brands has more of a chance to last longer, I guess? Monster High lost, so G3 lost at 34% and Rainbow High won at 66%. Now I specified with G3 because obviously the original, Monster High has endured. It has come back for 2 reboots. So Monster High as a brand will never really go away. So that's why I specified G3, because that's also the newest generation to come out this year. So it is kind of like sad that most people think G3 will not last long. I mean, it just launched again this year. I feel like it's been years now, but no, it just launched this year. So I do think it'll last like at least like 5 years. Let's hope, crossing fingers. But Rainbow High, I think, just really does have like a very strong creative output, and it's very consistent. Yes, the prices are concerning. Yes, the packaging, the customer service, the quality control, those are all valid points, but I think the actual designs and themes are usually always done well. It never feels half-assed. I mean, again, exceptions are, there's exceptions, like with Roxy, she does feel a little bland, but like overall, right, it's like nine times out of 10, it's usually like a yes and not a pass. So let's hope Monster High will still endure the new generation, because I do think while the style and fashions for some dolls might not be good or might not be liked by most people, I feel like it does have very much a big potential and strong potential, and it will reach a big audience. So I feel like it will last, it will stick around, it will last a while, I hope. Then we have, which do you prefer or like more and why? And then we have Rainbow High winning once again at 61% and Monster High lost at 39%. I did also add a little answer box, so you could actually write what you thought. So we'll take a look at the answers here. Once again, thank you to everyone who left answers. It was surprisingly actually a lot, and I was shook. I was not expecting many people to actually take their time and actually write a response. So overall, from what I could make out, people who grew up with Monster High do still have a place for Monster High in their heart. I mean, most people who grew up with Monster High, that was their whole childhood, me included. And so now with Rainbow High, a new generation, for the same thing that happened to us with Monster High, it happened with Rainbow High. So a new generation grew up with Rainbow High, and that's how they're getting into doll collecting, and that's how they're also discovering Monster High. So it's kind of like a cycle, you know, it's like very yin-yang. It's like the cycle of life. The doll lines are very similar. I mean, they're both talking about being, you know, be yourself, be unique, be a monster, show your true colors, let your true colors shine. It's the same kind of stuff, but just a different theme and concept is behind it, and design. I mean, you know, it's the same thing, but kind of different packaging and different dolls. The message is still the same, and it is definitely helping young collectors get into doll collecting and being able to be confident with who they are. And then the last question is, which have you had more issues with? This was also almost a tie. Rainbow High still won with 52%, and Monster High lost with 48%, but honestly, this is not a good thing. That means that Rainbow High has more issues. So but that makes sense, because quality control, you know, it is pretty bad with Rainbow High. Monster High is a little bit easier, because at least you can buy most of the dolls of Monster High Gen 3 in store, and if you can't, 9 times out of 10, if you order them online, they will look fine. But with Rainbow High, it's more like, you know, 9 times out of 10 you will get a defect. In conclusion, what do I think of this whole situation between Monster High and Rainbow High? I mean, they've always had, Mattel and MJ have had a rivalry since the beginning of time, it feels like. It's almost like this Adam and Eve thing. It's like it's been there since always. They've always had beef, and in the past, you know, on social media, on Instagram, they have kind of like, you know, shaded each other in comments or in captions some way or another, or also posting on the same day or whatever. But it's never been quite obvious, like when this happened, with the two posts being so similar at the same time, and then people thinking, oh, is it a coincidence? Is there a spy? Did Rainbow High copy Monster High? Who copied who? I think at the end of the day, while this could have been some really juicy drama that could have been some beef, I don't think it's beef. I honestly think it just was a dumb coincidence, but it was still very interesting to talk about this, and I know we'll still get some beef between the two companies, and you know, there's nothing wrong with some hot tea, and I'll be here to serve it up for you when it happens. Anyway, that was the video. I hope y'all enjoyed. Leave a like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you haven't already, so you don't miss out when I post more content like this coming your way daily, and keeping you up to date with all the dolls you love. Stay safe, be kind. I hope this next time. Stay peachy. Kisses.